Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to today's Being Heartful Every Day session. We are on day 39 of the week 6. The quality for the week which has been selected is focus. Okay. Specifically, we'll start looking at how to move from thinking to feeling. I think this is the topic for the day. Yeah, before we start, a small reminder to everybody that please circulate the master classes by Daji to all new aspirants, your friends, family, etc., so that they can know about heartfulness, and if interested, they can join. Please put in that effort and circulate the information. And also about this program that is Being Heartful Every Day. It'll be good if you can share it with our dear brothers and sisters who have also been practicing, so that they can join this program and get benefited. Okay. Now we move on to inspirational reading for the day. Today we spoke about yesterday and day before yesterday we spoke about pratyahara, which is the way we move from the physical body onto the subtler thing. Okay, and specifically we were reading about Swami Vivekananda's interpretation of pratyahara. So where we stopped was in the second paragraph, the middle one, where we hold fast to the idea. I am the witness, watching my mind drifting. The mind is not I. Then see things as if it were a thing entirely apart from yourself. The last line is very potent. Identify yourself with God, never with matter or with mind. The picture of mind as a calm lake stretched before you, and the thoughts that come and go as bubbles racing and breaking on its surface. Make no effort to control the thought, but watch them and follow them in an imagination that they float away. They will gradually lessen the circles, for the mind ranges over wide circles of thought, and those circles widen out into ever-increasing circles. As in a pond, when we throw a stone into it, we want to reverse the process and, starting with a huge circle, make it narrower until at last we fix the mind on one point and make it stay there. Hold on to the idea. I am not the mind. I see that I'm thinking and watching my mind act. And each day, the identification of yourself with thought and feeling grow less, until at last you can entirely separate yourself from the mind and actually know it to be apart from yourself. When this is done, the mind is your servant to control as you will. This is the first stage of being a yogi, is to go beyond the senses. Let's pause for a minute. I think we started about 5 minutes early. So let's wait for others to join. We'll start at 8:50. Till now, we just had a trial run. So I would request everybody to stay online. Let's formally begin the session now. I think we are on, welcome to the session on Being Heartful Every Day, the evening session. The quality which we have been focusing on this week is focus. So today we'll specifically look at how we are moving from thinking to feeling. Okay. Just a small reminder to everybody, a gentle reminder, please circulate the masterclasses by Daji to all your friends and family who have not started still, so that they become aware of what heartfulness is about and can join and start practicing heartfulness through the masterclasses. And for our brothers and sisters who are already practicing, who started heartfulness, please pass on information regarding this program, Being Heartful Every Day, and request them to join. It will be a very good learning for all of us. If each one of us can do it to one or two people we know, this will mean a lot, because we're spreading the message of the Master and working for the good of the society. We are now moving on to the inspirational reading. Past 2 days we have been talking about Pratyahara, and yesterday we stopped with Swami Vivekananda's interpretation of Pratyahara. The last sentence we read was, "The mind is not I." Then see, it thinks as if it were a thing entirely apart from yourself. Identify yourself with God, never with matter or with mind. Picture the mind as a calm lake stretched before you, and thoughts that come and go as bubbles rising and breaking on its surface. Make no effort to control the thoughts, but watch them and follow them in imagination as they float away. This will gradually lessen the circles, for the mind ranges over wide circles of thoughts, and those circles widen out into ever-increasing circles, as in a pond when we throw a stone into it. We want to reverse the process, and starting with a huge circle, make it narrower until at last we can fix the mind on one point and make it stay there. Hold on to the idea. I am not the mind. I see that I'm thinking. I'm watching my mind act. And each day, the identification of yourself with thought and feeling will grow less, until at last you can entirely separate yourself from the mind and actually know it to be apart from yourself. When this is done, the mind is your servant to control as you will. The first stage of being a yogi is to go beyond the senses. So we are essentially in the first stage of being a yogi. That's what the Swamiji says. Does this mean that we do not use the senses at all? Of course not. They will allow us to navigate in the world and live successfully. Without them, we suffer as people who are blind, deaf, or mute know all too well. So it is not the case of suppressing the senses, but refining them and using them wisely. When I was a young practitioner of heartfulness, I would observe Ramchandra of Shahjahanpur, my first guide. One of his eyes always gazed towards his heart, focused inwards, while the other looked at the world and at all of us, allowing him to guide us to do his work. We utilize the sense of vision in tune with Pratyahara. He utilized the sense of vision in tune with Pratyahara. Similarly, he used his sense of smell to perceive the world for a different purpose. In his autobiography, he describes how, as a teenager, he developed an instinct to recognize people's clothes by smell. This developed to the extent that at the age of 14, I could know the character of a man by the smell of his perspiration. These senses are vital to life and can be very useful as long as we master them, so that they are not at the mercy of external desires. Natural cycles. There is another practical tip that helps with Pratyahara, involving the nadis and breathing. Generally, those times of the day when we are breathing equally through both nostrils tend to be the times of Sandhya. That is, the stationary or turning points in the solar and lunar cycles: sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight. When we meditate at these times, it's easier to turn inwards and be still. Also, when our energies are moving inwards, when the breath is flowing through the left nostril associated with the Chandra Nadi and the parasympathetic nervous system, our senses will easily focus inward and our thought energy will flow inward. We can make use of such periods for pratyahara. The highlighted portion, I just read it because it's very important. Hold to the idea. I am not the mind. I see that I'm thinking. I am watching my mind act. And each day, the identification of yourself with the thought and feeling will grow less, until at last you can entirely separate yourself from the mind and actually know it to be apart from yourself. Heartfulness practices. Modern day heartfulness takes us further as it simplifies and expedites the old path of yoga. There is no longer any need to take up different steps of Ashtanga yoga separately, one at a time. Instead, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi are all taken up simultaneously. How does this work with respect to pratyahara? First, heartfulness meditation is aided by transmission, which facilitates effortless inward focus. How? Transmission is from the source, from the center. So it calibrates us from the inside out to be in osmosis with the most sublime samadhi from the very beginning. During heartfulness meditation with transmission, transformation happens from inside out, from samadhi to yama, from limb number 8 to 1. At the same time, we mold our lifestyle from the outside in, going from limb number 1 to 8. This two-way approach is revolutionary because it allows us to experience the 8 yogic attributes simultaneously without such a serious struggle. We are given a cane with which to walk, and sometimes we are carried like a joy in the mother's kangaroo pouch, so that the journey is one of effortless effort. I think we'll stop here now. And this has been a very potent talk where Daji talks about how we move from samadhi to yama in one direction and from yama to samadhi in another direction, and how transmission helps us do it. So let's introspect over this. At 9 o'clock, we'll move into the universal layer. Let's introspect on this. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. So let's now move into the universal prayer portion of it. Like always, let's sit comfortably, close your eyes, try to develop a very prayerful attitude, and pray that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. I'll read that again. We sit very prayerfully and pray that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. हम ये सोच के बैठेंगे, प्रार्थना भाव में बैठेंगे कि सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। फिर से पढ़ूंगा। सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। So let's continue our prayers till 9:50. While maintaining this prayerful attitude, we can gently open our eyes. Let's try to maintain this prayerful attitude till we sit for universal prayer again at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So with this, we come to the end of today's evening session. A very heartfelt thanks to everybody for participating in this session. See you all tomorrow at 6 a.m. in the morning. And also a gentle reminder that let's all sit for a bedtime prayer before we go to bed. Reflect on the day's activities, and in a very supplicant mood, beg forgiveness for any unintentional mistakes from our side, and resolve that we'll not repeat those mistakes again. Raji says, for intentionally done mistakes, there's no escape at all. But for unintentional mistakes, we can pray for forgiveness and resolve not to repeat it again. So that's all. See you all tomorrow morning 6 a.m. Thank you and good night.